Sonic Forces, formerly known as Project Sonic 2017, is a game I've gotten a handful of questions about. Since the title was officially revealed not too long ago, I figured it was time for me to talk about it. I use the term revealed loosely because all we got out of it this time around was an official name, 30 seconds of gameplay footage, and a sample of the game's main theme. All the gameplay showed to me was that the series is going back to the boosting mechanic, which I welcome since I enjoyed the likes of Colors and Generations for this, and it has been a few years since we've seen this style. However, that's about all we know so far. The footage was little more than Sonic running down a narrow corridor and cut itself off before the level opened up at all. I'm not GameXplain, so I'm not going to do an hour-long analysis picking the footage apart and desperately searching for indications of what elements might be new or returning from previous titles. In my opinion, there just isn't enough here yet to determine what changes have been made to the boost formula since Generations. But the fact that it's coming back at all after the lukewarm Sonic Lost World is a plus in my book. The only other aspect that has me excited so far is the music, because the main theme is fucking awesome, and I can't wait to hear the full version of it. But then again, Sonic the Hedgehog is a franchise that has built up a reputation for almost always having an incredible soundtrack, even if the game itself isn't very good. Unfortunately, everything else about Sonic Forces so far has left me skeptical. My concerns begin with the return of Classic Sonic, which we've known about for a while. I don't hate Classic Sonic at all. In fact, I love the side-scrolling gameplay and remixes he brought to Sonic Generations. But his inclusion made sense back then because Generations focused on time travel, so nobody questioned Sonic teaming up with his past self. But there has been no indication so far that there's any time travel element at all in Sonic Forces. So why is Classic Sonic here? If he's back because there is some capacity of time travel involved in the story once again, then I can't help but wonder why this game wasn't just called Sonic Generations 2 in that case. To be quite honest, Classic Sonic's inclusion feels like an indication to me that Sega and Sonic Team took the wrong message away from Sonic Generations' overwhelming success. It wasn't just Classic Sonic coming back that made the game so appealing to fans. It was the fact that Generations was a proper celebration of the franchise as a whole, both the old style of gameplay and the new united together. But I can't help but wonder if Sega thought Classic Sonic himself was the key to widespread fan approval, and now they believe the only way modern Sonic will succeed is if Classic Sonic is there alongside him in order to win the approval of fans who don't like modern Sonic at all. I hope I'm wrong about this. I hope Classic Sonic isn't just being shoehorned in here as a sign that the franchise is going to start relying on him as a crutch to help modern Sonic stay afloat. Classic Sonic was long gone by the time I finally got invested in the Sonic franchise, so I have no personal connection to him whatsoever. I grew to like Sonic after he switched over to the modern design. That's what I know, and that's what I like and prefer about him. I applaud the boost formula for helping to pull Sonic out of the gameplay rut he had been in for years after Sonic 06. I want to see this gameplay style succeed, and I think it has the room to improve and refine itself with more attempts. More specifically, I would like to see the formula encompass an entire Sonic title on its own for once, instead of relying on Werehog's overabundant 2D platforming or Classic Sonic to take up the other half of the game. I understand that building an entire fully fledged game around these massive branching levels with enough room to boost through them would take significantly more time and effort on the developer's part. But if there's anything we've learned from Nintendo over the years, it's that creating a truly remarkable and ambitious game takes a lot of time, and in most instances, the more time and polish put into it, the better the end result. But Classic Sonic's appearance in Forces to me says that Sonic Team just isn't confident that the boost formula can stand and succeed on its own. Again, I want to be wrong about this, but if the developers communicate a potential lack of confidence, that doesn't leave me feeling quite as optimistic myself. I want to see them try to make a full game around the modern Sonic boost formula style of play, even if that means it would take significantly longer for the game to release. But after 3 games of relying on some sort of gameplay crutch and now recycling one of those crutches for the 4th, I'm starting to believe that Sonic Team just doesn't think they can evolve this gameplay mechanic in a truly meaningful way, which is a real shame to me because I truly believe it still has attainable potential. At first, I couldn't put into words why Classic Sonic's inclusion bothered me so much, but after watching a video discussing the initial impact of Classic Sonic's inclusion in Sonic Forces made by a user named the Kaze Blade, I think I'm starting to make sense of it. I share a similar viewpoint on Classic Sonic's inclusion as the one expressed in this video, so if you want a more elaborate explanation as to why Classic Sonic's appearance in Forces could be detrimental to the Sonic franchise going forward, I highly recommend you watch this. I would talk about it more myself, but I think this guy just says it better, and I don't want this video dragging on too much longer than it has to. The second main concern I have about Sonic Forces so far is the title. Now, I don't see anything inherently wrong with the name itself. In fact, it almost sounds like a spiritual sequel to Sonic Heroes, which, if you think about it like that, then maybe you'll begin to see a problem. Game Informer released some noteworthy information they received from their extended preview of the game. Sonic's friends, such as Knuckles, Amy, and others, are in fact in the game, but they're only there as radio chatter, and therefore aren't playable. Meaning Sonic himself is the only playable character in Sonic Forces. Now, don't get me wrong, I have not been one of those people who has been begging for Sonic's friends to be playable again for years. I understand why they got axed so long ago, because the franchise was getting way too chaotic and out of hand with them at the time. Fans asked for the series to return to form and put the focus back on Sonic, and that's what we got. And it has been great to see Sonic Team prove that they can make good games that focus only on Sonic. In fact, we've had that for several titles now, but I believe there is such a thing as too much of a good thing. What I'm getting at here is that I'm starting to feel a little tired of the Sonic games being only about Sonic and nothing else. But it has been, what, a decade now since we've seen Sonic's friends playable in a main series game? I think the last time we got to play as anyone other than Sonic was Sonic 06, I believe. I could be wrong. Anyway, my point is that a lot of time has passed since then, and I think I'm ready to see the developers try to go back and experiment with these other characters again. The Sonic franchise has a plethora of characters with fans who enjoy them, so the idea of just never utilizing them again almost seems like a waste to me. You've got this huge cast of characters with unique personalities and abilities, but none of them ever get any attention anymore just because Sonic is the main character. The Sonic universe is just starting to feel a little empty to me. That's all I'm saying. Maybe I'm biased since my favorite Sonic game is Adventure 2, which featured multiple playable characters, but a lot of my issue with this solo Sonic thing stems from the name of the newest title. Why is it called Sonic Forces if Sonic is the only one who's playable? In this post-apocalyptic setting, the name appears to be an indication that Sonic is creating a rebellion against the tyrannical rule of Eggman. But how can it really be a rebellion or even a united force if Sonic is the only one actively forcing any real change? This just feels like a missed opportunity to reintroduce Sonic's friends as playable characters in the concept of a game where Sonic needs help saving the world. And no, classic Sonic just doesn't fit that criteria to me as a unique contribution to the cause, since he is just the exact same character conceptually. I'm not even saying to bring back the entire cast all at once. Even if Sonic Team started out small with just Tails or Knuckles and tried to build off of their previous gameplay styles in some fashion, I'd be satisfied with that. The name Sonic Forces just doesn't sound right to me if Sonic is the only one who's actively involved in this alliance. Yes, I know Sonic Mania is already doing the whole multiple playable characters thing, but I'd like to see this happening in games like Sonic Forces as well. That being said, we also learned from the Game Informer preview that there's apparently a third gameplay style in the game alongside classic and modern Sonic that we haven't seen yet. What this gameplay style is going to be is anyone's guess. I highly doubt it's Boom Sonic, given that Sonic Team didn't develop those games and the reception was so poor with fans that having that style represented as a third pillar alongside classic and modern Sonic would stick out like a sore thumb. There has been some speculation that this is an adventure-style Sonic, which I would definitely be on board with, but I'm having trouble visualizing what this gameplay style would look like, and how it could really differentiate itself from the other two styles. Hell, we don't even know if this mysterious third character is another form of Sonic at all. It very well could be, since it clearly isn't going to be any of Sonic's friends who fill this role, but we'll have to wait and see. Having 3 Sonics would make the title slightly more logical though, as a force of 3 different Sonics, but I digress. In summary, I am a little conflicted about Sonic Forces. The boost formula returning has me interested to learn more, and I'm glad the soundtrack has promised to be just as awesome as ever. But the reliance on classic Sonic and the lack of multiple playable characters in a game that practically begs for it in my opinion, is disappointing. As always, I'm reserving my more concrete judgment until we see more of the gameplay footage and eventually find out what this mysterious third gameplay style ultimately is, and how much it changes things. Sonic Forces has done enough to hold my attention, but not without prompting some concerns of my own. You've had a good streak going so far, pal. Don't let this be the one to break it.